Karibu sana, this is Chris Kumekucha. Welcome to the analysis for 18th of September 2018. Our big story today is of course about the drama concerning the fuel tax and the economy. And oh my, was there drama or what? Actually, according to me, the drama was just too much. For starters, Raila Jr., son of NASA leader Raila Odinga, came out with a tweet that has caught everybody's attention. After his dad had spent quite a bit of time convincing NASA legislators to support the president's 8% tax on VAT, reduced from 16%, Raila Jr. tweeted, "No, I don't understand the NASA explanation. MPs must stand with the wananchi, with the people." Of course, Raila Odinga handlers and spin doctors will be very quick to come out and say something like, Raila is a Democrat and even his house is run according to democratic principles. And so the son does not have to agree with the father. Something like that. However, Joe Nikubaya. Folks, this is unprecedented. But the biggest drama for me was the about turn amongst NASA legislators and amongst even quite a number of Jubilee legislators. After their parliamentary group meetings, the NASA meeting and the Jubilee meeting separately, these guys came out singing a different tune. Now, that's a big puzzle, because it contradicts human nature the way we know it. Now, let me just give you an example why this is puzzling, okay? Now, let's just imagine a situation where everybody is saying Kumekucha must go. And people are snarling and growling, mpaka saliva is coming out from the sides of their mouths, as they go into a meeting with Kumekucha. Then when they come out, they come out kama kondoo imenyeshewa. And you wonder if it's the same people. Because the very same people who are anti-Kumekucha are just coming out and saying, actually Kumekucha is the best, we must have him. Folks, that defies logic. Hapo iko kitu. And we're going to try and unravel that mystery, as our major story for today. But first, Pumwani Hospital. Now, we're all aware that Nairobi Governor Mike Sonko stormed into Pumwani Hospital and discovered quite a lot of things. Maybe a lot of us don't know how Mike Sonko arrived at the premises. The guy arrived in a boda boda. I kid you not. And he was dressed like some maga from downtown Nairobi. Now, when Sonko was done, he had fired a lot of people at Pumwani Hospital in his capacity as the governor of Nairobi County, which runs this famous Pumwani Hospital, where a vast majority of Kenyans are born. Yes, not Nairobians, Kenyans, because we even have people from outside the county being born at this hospital. Well, to be honest, things have changed a little now because we have so many private hospitals and maternity hospitals all over the place. But in my days, when I was younger, the only place was either Pumwani or you go to one of the posh big hospitals like Nairobi or Aga Khan. But of course now, people are spoiled for choices. There are so many hospitals. Anyway, Pumwani still handles a very huge amount of births every day. And they're supposed to be experts because they've been doing this thing for decades. Even before independence. So they're supposed to be very good at what they do. But that's not the case in this hospital. And I'll come back to that in a bit. But first, there's something very strange and odd that has happened here. People have come out criticizing Sonko and criticizing the actions he took. The Kenya Medical Practitioners, Pharmacists and Dentists Union, that union, have come out and really hit out at Sonko. They have said he did not follow procedure. There's a certain procedure that these things are handled. That you don't just fire doctors like that. You take it easy. and you refer to the right authorities, to the right boards for disciplinary action, etc., etc. And then, this is the big one for me, they came out and tried to explain how the 12 dead babies became dead. Now, this one made me angry, because why do people think that Kenyans are idiots? Because they can explain till next year, but my simple question is this. Why were these dead bodies of toddlers hidden? Why? It doesn't matter how they died. My question is, why were they hidden? And there was no record of them anywhere. Why? Now, Kenyans have been complaining for a very long time about a very evil business, evil trade. You can't even call it an evil trade. It's just something very evil that has been going on at this particular maternity hospital. And this is the selling of babies. You are a poverty-stricken Kenyan. You don't have the means to give birth in a big hospital. You go to Pumwani. You struggle to raise whatever cash you need to be able to make this thing happen. And then when you arrive there, after you deliver, the doctors tell you your baby's dead. And you're shown a dead body. Meanwhile, your baby actually is alive. And has just been sold off to somebody else. Now, we're being told by some quarters that actually the prices are 50,000 Kenya shillings for a girl and 10,000 shillings for a boy. Now, this is the kind of figures, if a Nigerian saw, they would just faint. Because to Nigerians, a baby girl is not a baby. A proper baby is a bouncing baby boy. Now, this kind of very backward thinking has been very well displayed in Nigerian movies. I think most of you will agree with me. So why should a girl be 50K and a boy 10K? It actually should be the other way around. Anyway, these are the figures being given out. Now, the discovery of those dead bodies of toddlers at Pumwani Hospital, is being investigated by state agencies. And quite rightly so. Because many Kenyans believe, that the only reason those dead bodies were hidden was for this evil trade. That is, the dead bodies were supposed to be used to get live babies. Oh boy. Anyway, we hope that these investigations will be speeded up, because this is an evil that must end. Because we have been hearing about it for way too long, and people have been complaining, then they say it is finished. People complain, and then the investigations, they go nowhere, and then things quieten, and then we hear things are still going on as usual. It's business as usual. This is terrible. It must come to a stop. If indeed it is still going on, and many Kenyans believe it is. Now, according to me, what Sonko did was the right thing, because there's some very drastic, crazy problems in our country that require drastic, crazy solutions. Drastic, crazy actions. Because if you if you go softly against these problems, you'll get crushed under them. And I mean that literally. Because obviously everything in Kenya is controlled by very powerful cartels. Cartels that murder, cartels that have very important people in high places, etc., etc. And that is why I fully support Sonko's move as far as this hospital is concerned. Now, there's something I found very interesting. Even as Sonko was questioning the nurses, some of them were rude. And even the daggers they were giving the governor of Nairobi, I don't know if it's a spirit in this Pumwani hospital. I know many Kenyans are not aware. But I believe some of the rudest nurses, most rude, crude nurses in Kenya can be found at Pumwani Hospital. And I've seen it with my own eyes. One of my kids was born there. I've gone to visit people there. I've seen it several times with my own eyes. And I've also heard very many horror stories. Now, this is completely separate from the allegations of the baby trade. These nurses are just rude. Like, for instance, when women are in labor pain, you'll hear a nurse telling the poor woman very crazy things. Things which I cannot repeat on this family channel. I can't. But let me just give you an idea, because I know you're curious. At least let me give you a general idea. You'll hear the woman being told, oh, you are enjoying yourself when you're conceiving that child. Now you can't stand a little pain. Come on. And then crazy remarks when you're discharged. They tell you, see you next year. Now I show you I know what I'm saying. Because I get it and I understand. These nurses have worked. That is true. They work under very difficult conditions. That is true. But still, that is not an excuse to make the life of your patients hell. Even as they're going through the excruciating pain that people need to go through to deliver their babies. Instead of releasing their frustrations on their patients, see, they just change careers, do something else, go become a mechanic or something. Anyway, we're going to take a short break. When we come back, we go to the drama bin drama Arab drama. Don't go away. Welcome back. Now, what is it that happened today? What made people like John Mbandi suddenly change? Because this guy was at the forefront. You remember the video I did yesterday? He was at the forefront of saying there was no way, himself and every MP he could talk to was going to accept the 8% VAT on fuel. Now, suddenly, he goes into the NASA parliamentary group meeting and he comes out with a different story. Now, this is my theory, and I believe it is very credible. Now, contrary to what I told you yesterday, I made a mistake. You know how I made the mistake? I told you guys, most MPs must be aware of the dire situation the government is in currently, especially as far as finances is concerned. Yani, ni kubaya. And it seems most of the legislators were not aware just how bad the situation is. My guess is that they were told what would happen if they shoot down this 8% VAT tax on fuel. Financial and economic disaster. The government would not be able to run. So fine, you have your principles, you have what wananchi are fighting for, what the common man in Kenya is fighting for. You have populist politics, so you pick a choice, You either decide to save the day or you decide to be populist. That's really the choice. Now, you know what would happen if the government ground to a halt financially? Everybody would be affected. Even these legislators would be affected. And obviously, it would be total chaos. Because even if you want to call for a quick election, where will you get the money to hold that election? My apologies for laughing, but what do you want me to do? Cry? Folks, things are not good. We have been saying that on this channel for a long time. And many people have not believed what we are saying. And even forget about me. A man called Dr. David Ndii has been talking and talking and talking for a very, very long time. Nobody has taken him seriously, or rather very few Kenyans have taken him seriously. In fact, I believe This is the only channel which has taken ND seriously right from the beginning. And I stand to be corrected. But even more interesting has been Club 1999. We have some very smart people there. And there's a small group there that has been discussing nothing else except the Kenyan economy. And these discussions started months ago. And admittedly, these discussions can get very boring. But these smart Kenyans absolutely knew what they were talking about. Because folks were just about to see things happen. Okay? Mambo bado. But all the signs are there very clearly to be seen. The writing really is on the wall. Very visible, very clear. As we speak, this afternoon, the Treasury, through the financiers, presented a supplementary budget. That is an additional budget or a new budget, different from the one presented earlier, where there were a lot of cuts here and there. It had a whole 55 billion slashed from the budget read earlier, budget presented earlier. And there's still a very huge hole, a very huge deficit. It's like a man who is earning 100K per month and his expenses monthly are 5 million. Now I know those who are keeping a close eye on the figures will look and tell me, Kumekucha, what are you talking about? There's nothing like that. But let me quickly elaborate on what I'm saying. A vast majority of the internal revenue earned by the government is through taxation. Now, before somebody is charged VAT, before the government earns any VAT revenue, somebody has to spend money. Somebody has to spend. Somebody has to buy something. Or if you like, somebody has to sell something. Before the government taxes somebody income tax, that person has got to earn the income. Now, the biggest customer in Kenya is the Kenya government. And the Kenya government has cut down on its spending. In fact, it has frozen a lot of spending. That means a lot of people will also cut their spending. So people will not spend so much. So VAT will go down, VAT earnings. And people will not earn profits. In fact, some companies will close. In other words, whatever is happening now will only spiral. And send the country into a bigger and bigger crisis. Because the government can't even borrow. Contrary to what we're being told, people in government have told us that borrowing is not a problem. Our debts are not a problem. We can even borrow more. Not true. Because to borrow, you have to find somebody who's willing to lend you the money. And when people look at Kenya, where almost virtually half of our earnings are spent on paying back loans, that lender is going to be nervous. And if he accepts to lend you money, his interest rates are going to be very high, which means that whatever money is going to lend you is going to dig you deeper into the hole rather than help you out of the situation. You get the gist of what I'm saying? And that is why the government desperately needs this 8% VAT on fuel. Desperately. Without the 8% VAT on fuel, don't even go there. You do not even want to imagine the consequences. And this is precisely, at least that's what I believe, what legislators were told today. Now, this brings us to a very interesting situation, because the government has insisted there's no problem, we're okay. So if legislators were told the true situation behind doors, confidential stuff, now how are they going to be able to explain to wananchi why they accepted to change their minds and support this 8% VAT on fuel? How? How are they going to be able to do it without the government backtracking and telling Kenyans the truth about our true financial position as a country? And that is why, in my view, the big drama is not even the vote on Thursday. It's not. Because in my view, if the 8% VAT goes through, we are cooked. It's only that it will take a bit longer, for people to find out the true situation we're in. If it is defeated, then it means that we'll have to find out a lot quicker what our situation really is. But the bottom line is that in both instances, we are cooked. Now, I'm the last person who wants to be an alarmist, but I believe that my mandate is to tell you people the truth. And what I'm telling you is the truth. Things are very, very bad. God help Kenya. Until next time, this is Chris Kumekucha.